Alrighty, well, we're about a minute after. We're going to go ahead and get started while people are still joining. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to begin by thanking everybody for joining us. My name is Nathan Yeager. I'm a product manager here at Allied Solutions, and I'll be hosting the webinar today. Very excited. We all know artificial intelligence is on top of people's minds, and we appreciate all of you who commented in some of the challenges you're having as you registered. There were a lot of struggles with staffing, comments about the amount of call volume you're experiencing, and I think this demo is coming at a perfect time. So as for the agenda, we're going to jump right into those call center challenges and then to a live demo. Then we'll spend a few minutes on beyond call center automation, the impact and the Allied perspective, and then we'll finish off with the Q&A. And before I introduce the speakers, I do want to remind you to please make sure to chat in. Any questions you have, we'll get to as many as we can in the Q&A at the end. And with that, today we have Srinivas NJ, CEO and founder of interface.ai. He has been working on artificial intelligence for over 10 years, including his time at Microsoft. Before launching Interface, he helped a financial institution grow from scratch to several billion in assets. His unique experiences inspired him to start Interface.ai, which is the most advanced AI solution in the industry. And joining him today is Allied Solutions Zone, Charlie Peterson, SVP Strategic Initiatives. Charlie has over 33 years of diverse experience in the financial services industry. He's helped over 1,000 different clients utilize cutting edge technology to maximize resources and to grow their bottom line. So with that, Charlie, take it away.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. And, it's a privilege to have this much excitement around what's going on in the artificial intelligence world. Call center challenges are out there in a pretty big way. And I think we all, if we're here, we all understand that. Prior to the pandemic, we couldn't have guessed that this is where things were going to be going. We have seen, even with branches coming back into full operation, the call centers are still seeing a 30 to 40% increase of calls. And, the wait times are up. I'm a member of a very large organization, and meaning credit union, and I can wait up to 30 minutes to talk to them. That takes us to the call abandonment rate between 5 to 30%. And, once I have experienced what it's like to never wait, you have to ask yourself, will you in fact be willing to wait again? So we've asked a number of you to provide some input and tell us what the challenges are that you've got. And we thank you for putting that into us. So appreciate that.
Hey, Charlie, thank you. This is Sri, founder CEO at Interface. I appreciate Charlie for kind of educating us a little bit about the call center challenges that's happening since the pandemic here. Has really taken member and customer experience, to quite a bit of an abyss here. So, just curious, when it comes to credit unions, community banks, why can't they solve such a challenge by hiring more people? Isn't that like one of the options that's possible to, address all of the challenges that you just talked about?
Boy, you sure would think so, wouldn't you? And I think pre-pandemic, that would be the absolute answer. But today, things are just altogether different. Finding these people and to get them on board, that's a challenge in its own right. But then getting them educated and ready to go to the call center live and provide adequate and answers that are, 100%, or let's just say even 90% accurate. That's a challenge.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if I think from the financial institution perspective, there's another option, right? Which is, why can't they outsource the calls to outsource call centers?
Well, even before the pandemic, that's exactly what everyone has been doing. It's expensive. That's one thing, but we would do that to make sure the members and the customers are getting served well. Some of them that are out there, Fiserv, Co-op, LSI, PSCU, they're all tremendous organizations, but they too have bandwidth issues. And some of them are saying it's going to take several months to bring on a new client. And some have said we're not even bringing on new clients right now because they're under the same pain and, the pressure that the credit unions and the banks and the other financial institutions are. They're all under the same.
Yeah, this reminds me of talking to one of the credit union executives who said, a pandemic has changed call centers just the way 9/11 has changed airports forever. It's a pretty massive change. So, I believe there is an AI that can help.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, artificial intelligence has been the saving grace, and it's in the sense of when I said that I don't have to wait to talk to my credit union anymore, I don't. Well, guess what? I changed credit unions. I'm still a member at the other. But if I can automate as a credit union decision maker, if I can automate 60% of the calls coming in, the basic type stuff, why wouldn't I do that? And why can't our people become more like consultants to work with the members who have more complex questions? And that's really what it comes down to. And I'll finish the answer to your question with this. If I'm going hunting or fishing and I want a guide, I want to be in and out quick because I don't have a lot of time. Our customers, our members are the same way. They don't want to wait, and they want the answers that they're looking for as soon as possible.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Let me introduce one of the possible solutions to address all the challenges and transform a call center, and we call it AI-powered phone banking. This is the product offered by Interface.ai. It's our flagship product. We won multiple awards on this, including CUNA Council Award, Best of the Show Innovate Award. I am so excited to show this to you personally today. What is AI-powered phone banking? It's very simple. Our AI assistant will pick up every single call coming into your member support number and respond to most of them without human intervention, right? For the calls that AI is unable to answer, that is coming from your customers, it will forward the call to one of your staff, right? The AI works as a first responder, removing your, the press 1, press 2 menu, right? Because when customers call in, financial institutions today, they feel like they just went back in time for 20 years, hearing that press 1, press 2 menu. With AI-powered phone banking, you're replacing that with a sophisticated, intelligent assistant that can handle most of the calls. And if it cannot, it'll forward the call to one of the staff, right? And this AI could be launched in 3 different stages. And this kind of the crawl, walk, and run kind of journey you can take to transform your call center being a cost to a revenue center. That is correct. We are not only just talking about the challenges you're facing today, but we are going to we're going to talk about how the solution not only addresses the challenge, but help you leapfrog your call center being a cost to more of a revenue-making center, right? Such is transformation journey here. Stage 1 of the journey is what we call smart discovery, where the AI responds to general inquiries, like checking routing numbers, customers calling in asking, are your branches ATMs open? Questions about products, services, pandemic promotions. A financial institution receive about 20-25% of calls that doesn't require you to authenticate your customers, right? So our AI, stage 1 AI, kind of takes care of all this 20-25% questions. Can go live in 2 to 3 weeks. Stage 2 is where AI kind of evolves to take care of transactional inquiries, checking balance, fund transfers, dispute transaction, all of that. And we already have integrations to all the major core bankings out there. It takes us about 4 to 6 weeks to launch stage 2. And stage 3 is pretty interesting, right? So, when a member or a customer calls in to check balance or a routing number, soon after responding to that question, the stage 3 AI takes the same call as an opportunity soon after responding to the question to provide a financial insight or an upsell cross-sell. Right. So a customer who may have called in to check balance, by the end of it, he or she may have sign up with a new product altogether. So hence transforming your call center from cost to revenue center. Right. So what we're going to do now is to show you a quick demonstration of all these 3 stages. Right. I'm so proud to say this is not a pre-recorded demo that we're going to show you now, but it's a live product demonstration. And I'm going to also show you how you can try this yourself first hand. So let's go ahead and call this number real quick. I'm going to put myself on loudspeaker here so we can, you can hear me talking to AI. So I'm going to go ahead and call this number real quick.
Hi there. Welcome to the Interface's AI-powered phone banking. I am Gary. Our conversation here will be recorded to help me get better. How can I help you today?
Hey, Gary, I was thinking about coming to one of your branch, wondering if you're open. Can you help me find that out?
Yes, we are open. In some of our branches, we are redirecting the traffic to our drive-thrus. Do you want me to send you driving directions to the nearest branch?
Yes, please.
Great. Please provide me the zip code or city name.
I am located in San Mateo, California.
Thanks. Looks like there are a few branches that are open in your location. The branches are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. I just sent you a text with driving directions. And you can always talk to me whenever you need help. I am available 24/7. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
That text helped me get there faster. Thank you. Hey, by the way, I'm trying to skip a loan payment. Is there a way you can help me do that right away?
I can surely help you with skipping a loan payment. I have sent you a text with the link to the application to skip a loan payment along with the instructions. Please click on the link and follow the instructions. Please note that the application should be filled at least 5 days before the payment due date. To support you in the time of coronavirus pandemic, we have removed the $35 fee associated with skipping a payment. Do you want to know which loans are eligible to skip a payment?
I appreciate removing the fee there, Gary. Can you help me find my balance now?
Sure, I will help you with your account balance. I see that you already have registered for voice verification. Would you like to verify using your voice?
Yes.
Great. Make sure there is no background noise and go ahead and say, "My voice is my password. Please verify me."
My voice is my password. Please verify me.
Thank you. We are able to successfully verify that you are a customer of Interface Bank. The balance in your checking account, ending with 2234, is $2,337.55. Also, I want to remind you that if you maintain a minimum balance of $3,000, you will be eligible for an additional 1% cashback. Do you want to know the balance of your savings account?
Pretty helpful insight, Gary. Thank you. Hey, I'm traveling to London sometime next week. Is there a way you can help me place a travel notice on my account? Oh, sorry, card?
I can help you set a travel notice. I've noted that you're traveling and I have successfully set a travel notice on your card. We'll make sure your transactions run smoothly. By the way, you're traveling a lot and I recommend you switch to our new credit card with no foreign transaction fee and many more benefits. Do you want to know more?
That sounds exciting, Gary. Probably sometime later. I deposited a check in one of your ATMs. Haven't received the cash to my account yet. Can you help me find out why is the delay?
Sure. Happy to do that. Give me a moment. I will transfer the call to our specialist, John.
Great. I hope you can hear me back here. I'll put my headphones back.
So that was a quick demonstration and how AI not only can help answer general inquiries, but also can help do transaction, fund transfers, disputed transaction, whatnot. Also take the call and interaction as an opportunity to do upsell, cross-sell, provide financial insights and whatnot. Finally, when a question comes in that AI cannot answer, it'll seamlessly hand off the call to staff, right? So that's kind of the experience possible there. So hope you noticed there were a couple of things that were happening behind the scenes, right? So there was voice biometrics, as well as there was caller ID being verified in real time for fraud. So we are always, as as financial institution, we're always debating between best experience and top class security, right? It's kind of a debate. You can't until this point you can't achieve both, right? With voice biometrics and caller ID, as in voice verification and caller ID verification, now you can achieve both. You can create the seamless experience that you've been waiting for your customers while ensuring top-notch security. And not only this, now you also, with our solution, the AI-powered phone banking, you'll be able to be fully compliant with the new regulation that is coming out, that has come out already from FFIEC. So that is the quick demonstration of AI-powered phone banking there. You may be wondering, happens to the for your teams, how can they monitor the performance of AI and things like that, right? So let me show the kind of dashboard you get access to see some of the metrics in real time. It shows you the number of calls came in versus the calls handed off to a human. We also track sentiment across every single interaction within a call. So internally at Interface AI, customer experience is at the center of everything we do. Automation is a byproduct of that. So we've embedded sentiment analysis so that the bot is able to understand the tone or the words they're using and understand the sentiment to pass on the call to staff if someone is upset. So instead of you running surveys, kind of figuring out if someone was not happy, you're doing sentiment analysis in real time to avoid someone to be unhappy to even begin with. Right, that's what you can do with AI. It shows the call by location, different kinds of questions being asked, what has been your savings. It also shows number of calls you're getting after hours. It also shows the callback request being placed, because if AI is unable to answer some questions during after hours, it'll take a seamless callback request so your staff can handle the next day, right? There is a lot you can measure. My favorite part of that dashboard is actionable insights. Here, based on the interaction between the customer and the AI, the data, there's so much data, it provides insights that help you improve your products and services better. And what are the calls that people often complain about products? Probably there's a room for you to fix the product. It helps you to understand your customers a little bit better. It also tells you what are the next best questions you should consider adding to AI so that can continue to improve your customer experience and automation levels, right? It recommends you the exact question you should consider adding. You may be wondering, how is AI learning? Who is going to add? Who is adding all these new questions and whatnot? So there are two levels of learning that Interface AI offers. One is we have created a federated learning layer. So all the conversations that are happening across all the credit unions and community banks we are powering today, we are serving millions of conversations every single day, right? So AI is continuously learning from all those interactions. And for example, let's say a customer of a bank in New York asked a question in a whole brand new way to ask, what is my balance? The next day, let's say a credit union in California member asked the same way to check balance. They would be able to do that without any trouble, because in that one day, the AI learned the new way of asking balance, right? So that's federated learning, what we call collective intelligence that you get to share across all the customers. So there is another kind of learning happening, which is new questions being added, right? So the learning we just spoke about is understanding the existing questions in a different way, but AI cannot learn a new question altogether completely, right? So that is managed through providing what we call a managed services support, where a dedicated staff assigned to you would continue to monitor your AI for new questions that customers are asking AI is unable to answer, as you saw on the dashboard. So, and our team brings up these new questions to you on a weekly, monthly basis, and reviews and takes an approval from you if it's okay to train those new questions, and goes ahead, adds those new questions to your AI. So the AI is not only learning new ways someone can ask the same question, but it's also learning new questions altogether, improving your customer experience. So that's pretty massive. You're literally putting AI learning on an autopilot to continue to create more ROI for you, right? So that's kind of a little bit of details for you there. Another thing you may be wondering is, what is the possible ROI with such a solution, right? If you are 100,000 customers or members financial institution that listening to this call, you may be already receiving about 30,000 calls that are handled by your staff, right? And probably paying about $10 or $1.5 per minute per your call. We talk to financial institution who pay $7. Also talk to financial institution who pay, $12. So let's say $10 for now. Given these assumptions, 100,000 members of customer financial institution could be saving $180,000 per month by automating 60% of calls in about 3 months, right? Here is the thing that is so unique to interface AI, and why Aled really loved interface AI is you pay us by performance, right? If we automate, you pay, otherwise you don't. Simple, right? So as part of my journey helping my father scale a credit union, I've sat on your side of the table quite long, and there's all these vendors come claim huge ROI. Very rarely those come true. So when we started Interface AI, we wanted to change that. The way we are changing is by asking you to pay for performance. And here is how it works. If we automate 10% of the calls instead of 60, you pay us a small fraction of the full price of this expensive AI product, right? If we automate 20% of calls, you pay us a little bit more. But you only pay the full price of the product when we reach 50 to 60% of the automation bracket, right? By then, you would be saving so much, the cost of AI is going to be so small, right? That's kind of the pay for performance. The savings is one part of the story, right? So with AI, engaging even 6 out of your 100 callers, as in 6% of your callers with an upsell cross-sell, for a 100,000 customer member financial institution, we can help you drive home close to $700,000 worth of new leads, right? Now that your staff who've been freed up handling repeat calls, their time could be reallocated to follow up on these leads. Hence, you would have transformed your call center being a cost to a revenue center. Kind of tying that back to the beginning of the story there for you, right? So there are benefits, again, in the context of a 100,000 member customer financial institution, there is savings and earnings. But what we truly get excited about is its ability to improve your customer experience. The call wait time, abandonment rate that we are seeing a huge spike in today goes to 0. The AI will be able to handle enough number of calls, giving room for the rest of your team to handle the calls that AI could not also quickly, right? It would create enough efficiency. Our AI can also provide 24/7 support to your customers, and it can scale up, scale down seamlessly. Monday mornings, all the trouble we go through, or seasonal peaks like holidays, the AI can scale up, scale down without you having to worry. You can also avoid your customers being routed to outsourced call centers for after hours and overflow. Many of the calls from outsourced call center comes back to you. It's also expensive. There's limited functionality they can offer. With AI, you no longer need that. You can cut back on that too. It also reduces your call center operation overhead in a big way. Most of the credit unions, hundreds of them I get to talk to, they have many open positions for call center executives yet to fill, right? It's really hard it's always been hard to hire. It's become worse now with the pandemic, right? So all of that challenge of hiring, rehiring, retraining with attrition, could be overcome through AI. So that's a little bit of an overview there. One last product I want to show you is Frontline Assistant, right? You may be wondering what happens to calls that AI is unable to handle and it forwards to a human, right? So what you're seeing on my screen is Frontline Assistant that can be set up to literally pop up on your staff screen as soon as you pick up a call, right? It shows them the question that AI could not answer and the details of the customer who's calling in. So I'm just zooming in for a benefit. It shows that voice biometric caller ID has been verified. It goes one step beyond. It even brings up a policy or procedure right in front of your staff screen, right? Showing step-by-step instructions, including screenshots of your core or backend system that your staff need to use to fulfill this member request. All policy and procedures are served to them instantly. So you don't have to worry whether you have to train all these policy and procedures all over again on the system. The answer is no. You just have to point our AI to Word document, SharePoint, or a knowledge management system you have. We extract all of that, and our team can clean it up and push these policy and procedures to our system, so it's available for you seamlessly, right? So now that's kind of a real quick introduction on what all could be done with the AI on the call center. Briefly, we're going to move beyond call center, right? You may be wondering, is this AI can do anything beyond call center, right? So, the answer is absolutely yes. We have over 60 solution across different line of business for your customers. Consumer banking, wealth management, small business. In consumer banking alone, we have 30 plus solution ranging from AI working as a concierge bot on your website, answering some of the questions for your website visitors and whatnot, and as well as co-browsing with your online application applicants, right? So we're coming in, clicking apply online, and then starting the application process. All the hard work your marketing team did to bring that lead, the AI continues to co-browse with them to make sure they successfully convert and become a customer or a member. And the solution go all the way from offering this basic AI intelligence to even doing an outbound call to collect debt. Right, that's the gamut of solutions just in retail banking. We also have solutions for employees. We already looked at Frontline Assistant, which just helps your staff. We also have Sales, IT, and HR Assistant. And all of these 60 plus solutions, by the way, could be added across 23 different channels. The AI could be a first responder across 23 different channels. What you heard me demonstrating was the AI on the call center. You can take the same AI, put it on text messaging, website, email, in front of your live chat. Some of you are considering or launching live chat. If you plug AI in the day one, you don't have to scale up and scale down your team later on, right? So consider doing that together with the live chat. This AI could also be within online mobile banking, social messaging apps like Facebook, Twitter. And the same AI brain could respond to your member and customer requests coming from Alexa, Google Home, smartwatches, IDMs, cars, right? 23 different channels. Since all of this is connected to the same AI brain, it helps you to create a seamless journey across the channels. So your customer or a member could start the conversation on Facebook Messenger, quickly inquire about a product or service. When they're ready to apply, we seamlessly take them to a mobile bot where they can literally speak and apply for a whole application. Let's say they're calling in your contact center a few days later. The AI on the contact center will proactively greet them if they're calling about the loan application status, even before they utter a word. That's the next generation experience we're talking about. We call it a Netflix kind of experience internally here at the company, right? So, and you can take all of these solutions across different channels in 119 languages, English, Spanish, Mandarin. No customer needs to be left behind just because they don't speak a particular language fluently anymore. That's intelligent self-service, right? So, that's kind of a quick overview of what all is possible beyond call center. I want to quickly take you through the impact we created. Let's look at some of our clients and see how they've benefited. This is University Credit Union. They're about $1 billion in asset, David Teo and his team evaluated 5 to 6 different vendors, and they believe interface is kind of far ahead of even the second best vendor. It really means a lot to us. They launched AI about 400 days back, right? It has helped them avoid 136,000 calls, saving them close to 1.3 million in handling those calls, right? Since they have multiple modules, the AI is also helping, co-browsing through the online application improve conversion. That has enabled close to 835,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars of new revenue that is analyzed based on the LTV, right? So that's the top line and bottom line impact for this client here. I want to show another client here. This is Neighborhood Credit Union. They are based out of Dallas, Texas. Carolyn Jordan and her team picked Interface after evaluating 3 to 4 different vendors. They launched their AI on the call center only so far. It's been about 6 months there, 182 days. We've helped, the AI has helped avoided 77,000 calls, otherwise which should have been handled by a human, saving them close to $700,000. And their call handling rate went from 50 to 90% with the same headcount, right? That's the massive impact AI brought there. So, Charlie, hope that kind of makes sense. I would love to hear your perspective more here. Specifically starting with, how did Allied Solution went ahead picking the partner, especially us, Interface AI. Can you tell us some kind of the backstory? What happened?
Certainly. You brought up David Tuyo, the president of University Credit Union. He actually is a client of ours, and he came to us right after the pandemic got its start. And at the end of the day, we took a good hard look at what balance sheet we entitled it the pandemic think tank. That's really what we were trying to get to, and how we can take expenses and turn them into revenue flows, not just for Allied Solutions, but our 4,000 plus clients across Canada, the United States. And this applies in such a huge way. We did the deep dive due diligence, and what we found is exactly what David Tuyo had shared with us. I've employed these folks, and I'm telling you, the efficiencies gained is tremendous. When we looked at that and we said the next closest competitor is a couple years behind, and that's significant, and that really made a difference to us.
Great, that's quite a bit of insight. One of the questions I wanted to also ask you, Charlie, is when you offer 60 plus solutions to 4,000 plus financial institutions, Allied Solutions works with. For each of this solution, you have multiple vendors, right? But with AI, Interface AI is the only option you ended up choosing. Just curious, why is that?
Well, again, and I kind of led to that a little bit, but we like to bring choice to our clients because not every organization is the same, and their needs may be different, et cetera. As we looked out there, we didn't find those that had the vision that we thought was necessary for the long haul. We didn't see the amount of investment in the number of modules that were ready to go. 60 versus say under 10, that sort of thing. And with what David Tuyo had shared with us, we found it to be true. There was no one else out there that we would employ inside our own organization because they weren't far enough along. So we brought the best solution to the market, and we're very happy and comfortable with that.
Thank you, Charlie. So one last question I wanted to ask you is, what has been the response from financial institutions? You and I probably spoken to about 400 financial institutions in the last few months here, right? So, we're on a very special seat, get this unique opportunity to talk to C-level execs at 400 plus financial institutions so far, and we've had many clients together. We've launched many clients together. So just curious, what has been the response?
Well, it's been a big thumbs up. I mean, it's almost overwhelming when they first see all the things that you can do. But as you described, the crawl, walk, and run approach is really what allows an organization to go slow. We've got 100 million in asset credit unions that are utilizing it on the web, yet we go into the multiple billion-dollar organizations as high as 25 billion in assets just that Allied's involved with. After all, you have the second and eighth largest banks in the world that utilize you, but they're doing a whole lot of different things. And so they're obviously really seeing the efficiency gains and the ROI. It materializes from day one.
Thank you, Charlie. Nathan, back to you for the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinivas and Charlie. And we'll jump right into them. There's been a lot of questions coming in, so we'll try to get to as many of them as we can, and we'll just go top down. And I do want to say we have your direct names, so if we can't get to them all, we'll get out to you individually and get those answers for you. So, number one, can you be specific about what transaction cores you have integration with, and where can I get that information?
Sure. We have integrations with Fiserv DNA, Scimitar, Jack Henry's Scimitar Episys, and correlation, and CU Answers very soon, kind of finishing that off, and Finestra, quite a few. We're happy to share that. Considering, Nathan, you already have the contact, we could probably send the list to them directly.
Great. Next question, is integration available for both core and digital service providers?
Yes, so you can, we could take the path of going through an online banking, mobile banking APIs, like for example, Q2, Alchemy, or Finestra has great set of APIs that we could connect directly to without having to go to the core. That is one path. Another path is kind of integrating with the core itself directly.
Awesome. Is the fraud system built in or a separate system? How do we gather the voice pattern to verify against?
Yeah, so it's an API call that you could plug into any other third-party systems too. Once we bring it on board, basically, the way it works is there is a registration process and a post that you get to use it, and we kind of make that very seamless. So, for example, when a customer calls in, and let's say for the first time without no voice verification registered, and say they want to check a balance, for example. We ask in wallet, out of the wallet kind of questions to verify the member to get them to the balance. But while we're doing that, we're listening in the backend to train the AI with the voice. So when they come in next time, we tell them, hey, you've been successfully onboarded to voice verification. Do you want to use it? Right? If they say yes, they can just say my voice is my password. So that's kind of the process there. It's a very seamless onboarding, and then they can use it. And the same enrollment details could be exposed through an API that you could call and verify through other channels as well.
Next question, is there spoofing
just real
detection?
Quick, Nathan, real quick.
Yep.
I think it's important to note that because Interface does 1.5 million transactions a day and 15,000 calls per second, is their capability. If you go out into the market and try to buy what Interface is talking about, you're going to find it to be very, very expensive. Whereas because of the volume, we've cut the middle people out in the sense of middleware, and that's good news for you. So if you have interest in that, let us know.
Yep. Thanks, Charlie. Is there spoofing detection?
Yeah, so I think there's on the caller ID, I think the question is specific to caller ID, and I can answer probably for both voice and caller ID. Specifically in the caller ID, the entire solution is built for detecting spoofing, right? So because you can't trust the caller ID that comes in. A kid can watch a YouTube video for 30 minutes and hack it up to make it look like a customer's caller ID. That's how easy it is today. So caller ID fraud detection is built to connect all the way back to the carrier to verify if they're indeed calling from the number the caller ID is showing, right? So the answer to that question is yes, because it is that's the purpose of the solution, right? So on the voice verification, there is an aspect of liveliness. I don't call it spoofing. Like, for example, can I record my voice and just play it back, right? So would it verify? The answer is no. It checks for liveliness of the voice as well.
Awesome. Next question. When the caller asked the question that needed an agent to answer, the bot said, "Let me transfer you to John." How does the bot determine what agent is getting that call to answer correctly?
That's a great question. I like how much you observed the demo. I feel that we conveyed the message. So thank you for that question. So, there are a couple of things, right? So the Frontline assistant you saw, right? So, we could, there is a small integration would require if you want to use, if you want the AI to tell the name of the agent correctly, right? Which is, we need your call center system pass on the caller ID to us so that and caller ID and the agent who picked up the call, that information needs to get passed on from your call center system to our Frontline assistant. That way, our AI knows while the transfer is happening, they can tell the name, right? The AI can tell the name. So that is the part that you can achieve by a small integration with your call center system. But otherwise, typically the way you can get started is by our AI saying, I'm transferring the call to lending department, right? Or credit cards department, which is okay to start with because it will help you to achieve go live much faster, avoiding all these integrations. And then eventually you can further optimize for the names. If you go down the path of where AI can just tell the name of your team rather than the name of the individual, we actually do not require integration to your call center system at all because our AI sits at the carrier level. And it takes your carrier, who's given you the customer support number, like 30 minutes to route the calls to AI, right? So it'll be very fast for you to set it up. And then over a period of time, you can further optimize for AI to tell the name itself.
Perfect. To have the bot answer a call, is the call path that the member calls the institution, the call is forwarded out to the cloud-based brain, then comes back into the institution? And if that's the route, what happens in the case when the brain is down?
It's a good question, and I'm happy that you call the brain as well. So we did communicate it's a brain. So, these are on the cloud systems, right? So these are highly available systems. We have DCDR, we have redundancies within DCDR. Our available uptime has been 100%, and we promise you on our contract 4.9 uptime, 99.99%. We take this one step beyond that. We even give you a termination clause and a penalty clause if the uptime drops below even a small percentage of 4.9 availability for 1 or 2 months. You can actually terminate the contract. Not only this, we have many financial institution friendly clauses like that, because we want you to be with us for the value, not because of the contract. That's kind of the DNA. But now I'm kind of digressing, but hope that answers your question.
Great. Any NPS impact credit unions that have implemented the solution?
No, there is so many different ways you can launch it, right? So you can launch AI, let's say on the call center, right? So there's crawl, walk, and run, and many different paths of crawl, walk, and run. You can put it only after hours to start with, and see how members use it, and then eventually roll out it to 24/7 calls, 24/7. You can do other things, like for example, when we launch 24/7, we don't launch it abruptly for all the calls. We kind of do a staged launch. For example, the day we go live, you can choose for us to just go live for 5% of the calls. So there's 100 calls coming in, only 5% will be handled by AI, and the other calls AI will keep sending it to your phone, your IVR or customer support, and then you can slowly increase that from 5, 10, 15, 20%. So while this increase in calls that AI is taking, we're also working constantly adjusting everything to make sure it is when it is ready to take more number of calls, it's pretty solid. So there is many ways you can crawl, walk, and run without impacting the customer experience. These are the choices we lay out for you, and these are the choices you could make and help us go in that right direction.
Awesome. I think we're about a minute away. I think the meeting is going to end here. I'm not sure if it will just cut off automatically, but we can keep going through questions here. The next one is, in many call centers, representatives log the purpose and the resolution of the call in the CRM system. Is the AI capable of interfacing with the CRM system to do this?
So AI does integrate with CRM system, and so for the call transcripts, as in the reason of call, if they called in for blocking a card and things like that, it has the ability to push the reason of the call into your CRM. So when your staff is looking at the CRM, they're still able to get that 360-degree view that you want your staff to get, right? So this is not going to be an island of data and a separate channel that your staff may end up losing out on context if it's only handled by AI. That's not the case. AI pushes the call transcript and the reason of the call to your CRM as a summary that you can see and make sure your staff continue to have that 360-degree view.
All right. Is CSAT option part of the solution?
That is
satisfaction. Yeah.
That is correct. So it's a sentiment analysis, one of the aspects of the 8 different signals we measure to measure the real-time CSAT score, right? Gone are the days you want to do CSAT after someone got angry, right? So you need to do it real time and handle it right away, right? So that 8 signals include sentiment is one of them. And other thing is like, are they asking the same question twice, right? Or the bot lost the context within the flow. So there are signals like that. It calculates CSAT in real time, and you can set a threshold. If for any given call and a given interaction within a call, if the sentiment of CSAT is below a threshold, the AI can seamlessly hand off the call to staff.
All right. There were a couple questions based on asset size. One of them being the 100 million range all the way up to 300 million range as to there being a use and a benefit. Is that correct, Srinivas?
Yes, the smallest customer we have today is about 150 million. The big one is tens of billions.
Yep. Next question, is there a measure of positive negative feedback from members who interact with the bot and data analytics at the credit unions that have implemented your solution?
Yes, so we launched quite a number of new tools to continue to give you deeper insights on what's happening with the conversations with the AI. So these tools gives you calls that are automated versus calls that are not automated, abandoned, calls with positive, negative sentiment. Quite a lot of breakdown of calls, so you can deep dive into specific part of the calls, specific set of calls, and then specific part of the calls to really understand what's going on. Because these are the same tools that my team uses to continue to improve the member and customer experience, right? As part of that fully managed service, we continue to fine tune these workflows as well as add new workflows. So these are the tools we use internally, and they're available to the clients as well.
Awesome. Well, I think we're a couple minutes past our time here. There's a handful that we will reach out directly to with the answers to your questions. And thank you, Srinivas, Charlie. Thank you guys so much for being on the call today. Appreciate it. And thanks everybody for joining. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Don't hesitate to reach out if you've got questions.